Hey guys, this is our Wednesday morning in Invermere. We're all pretty much up and getting into the car. Yeah, no free breakfast at Invermere Hotel and Inn or whatever. So we went over to McDonald's, got some sandwiches. And yeah, we're on the road, heading into Banff, I believe. And just like some other areas. Kind of neat, driving through the mountains. Lots of lookout points. Stopped at one here, and yeah, I'm liking those clouds. Pretty cool. So yeah, I'm hanging out in the back seat, not really sure where we're going. Just every now and again we stop, and I'm like, yeah, nice, look at this river. There's a little bridge that you can walk over to. Pretty close to the parking lot. Get a decent view of this waterfall. All the cool shapes that it's cut into the rocks. Very neat. So yeah, then we just went down the road a bit. We're gonna check out the paint pots. 1 kilometer from the parking lot, should be an easy hike. Pretty neat bridge over here. You can get a decent view of the river. I imagine this is the same river that we were just looking at. It's a bit wider here though, so that's neat. And then yeah, a boardwalk through this like muddy swamp area. Kind of looks like people have been walking through it, so I wonder if it's wet all the time or not. Then yeah, we walk uphill next to this like slimy orange looking creek. I'm not sure what to call it. But yeah, on the top of the hill, there's a couple of puddles. This is the paint pots. At least this is one of them. Like, huh. I wasn't expecting anything. But I didn't think it would look like this, the paint pots. This one's at least kind of pond sized. And then right next to that is a bigger one. Apparently it's orange because of the iron content in the sands. Something like that at least. Also, as we were leaving, saw a helicopter flying by. It had a tow hook on it, so that was kind of cool. And it landed pretty close to us, so wasn't really sure what was going on. I was kind of keeping my eyes open in case it took off, and here it is taking off again. Can't really tell what it's carrying. It looks kind of big. At first I thought maybe it was a person, but I don't know. It's like the same size as the helicopter almost. Or like the main body of the helicopter, you know? Anyways, that was a neat hike. We're going down the road a bit further now. And yeah, coming up to kind of a hike. More of just like a bunch of neat viewing spots. It's not a very far walk. But yeah, this is the Marble Canyon. Definitely looks pretty cool from here. As we go further in, there's lots of little viewing spots. But there's also like 5 bridges that zigzag across. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You can have a bunch of neat looks down into the canyon. And again, lots of neat rocks that have been carved around by all that rushing water. It seemed like a pretty busy spot too. Like there's a lot of tour buses coming drop by. And lots of groups. So, yeah, Marble Canyon. Some neat trees stuck down there. One of the other bridges. Just looking down into that canyon and being like, damn, that's a neat canyon. So this is kind of the final bridge area. This is where I turn back. I think you can go further, and then there's like different view spots that you can take some pictures with the falls and stuff. I'm kind of good though. Did take a selfie looking at the sun with Adam, and then we made our way back. Yeah, that's a pretty cool stop. So yeah, I think we were worried about it raining a little bit, and it did rain a little bit as we got into Alberta. We're headed towards Lake Louise, but didn't seem too bad. And it pretty much stopped by the time we got to Lake Louise, so that was good. But coming into Lake Louise, whew, man, the parking definitely seemed like it wasn't going to happen. All the lots are full. But pretty much as we pulled up by one of them, 2 cars left, and then we were allowed into this parking lot by some road trip magic. But yeah, parking here is an extra $35. It's kind of like, damn guys, we got to get our $35 worth and really take in this lake. And it's a pretty nice lake. We've been here before, so I was a little bit like, we're coming back here? But, you know, it's a cool spot, so no complaints. Saw a cool bird. Again, I should have looked up what this bird was called. But, you know, that's a little special task for you, if you want to leave a comment. Yeah. Along the lake, there's a walking path that follows the lake, so I'm gonna do that while the other guys go up the hill, and they can see another mountain lake that might be pretty cool. It's supposed to be a tea house or something up there too. I don't know. And I walked for a bit. It got nice when there was fewer people walking around. But eventually I was like, I think it's just going to be the same thing as I keep walking. So I decided to turn back and just hang out on a bench that was along the trail in an earlier section. And it started to rain a little bit, and I was like, well, I'm going to wait for the guys in like this little tree patch. There's a nice rock I could stand on, and it didn't get too wet in here. Yeah, kind of looking at the canoe people. It's like $160 for an hour of canoe if you want to rent a canoe here. Kind of nuts. Anyways, kind of hung out here, waiting for people to come by. There's Adam. We hung out in the trees for a little bit till he wanted to go find a better spot that didn't get wet at all. But yeah, neither of us have the car keys. Should have got those car keys. Oh well. Keeping an eye open for Arthur. He's apparently running down the mountain. As he was getting closer, I was like, alright, I guess I'll head towards the car. And yeah. Like, my raincoat did a pretty decent job. Arthur ran back and delivered some rain ponchos and coats to Dandy and Alex. Then eventually everyone got back to the car, and maybe the rain lightened up a little bit, but everyone changed into like dry shirts and stuff, so that's good. They're still pretty cold, so we went down to go to the tourist towns nearby. And checked out the visitor center. You know, people are getting coffees and stuff. Looking at a ground squirrel or something. Yeah, visitor center. Pretty decent. Lots of these cute little guys out here, though. I'm not sure what they are. Maybe marmots? Varmints? I don't know. I don't know what you want to call them. They're cool. You can get kind of close to them. Yeah, I'm sure they're used to being fed. But, yeah, I went to a store, it's a bubble tea bento place, and they had some chicken on rice, so I got that. That was pretty tasty. You know, everybody else got different things or something. I don't know. Bit of a free-for-all. Anyways, gonna keep on driving. Yeah, we did see a sign that said Highway 1 closed. We're like, isn't that the highway we're on? And then we saw all these semis off to the side. We're like, what do they know? And they knew what the sign said. It's Highway 1 is closed. There was a car accident around noon. And, yeah, the highway's closed. I think we were here around 5 p.m. or something. And I was like, well, I guess we could wait here and hopefully they'll open it up. We talked to a guy who was flying a drone and he could only see a big line of traffic. He couldn't see the end of it. So we're thinking, well, just wait. We'll just keep going. How long could it be? Because to get to where we're going, it'd be like a 4-hour detour. So maybe it'd be nice if they could clear this highway in 4 hours. But I don't think it was destined to be that way. Earlier we saw a lady just like sprinting down the highway towards whatever the stop was. And eventually we saw her come back and talk to her. She said that they might open the highway up around 10 p.m. That's when we decided to turn around and just take the detour. You know, even though we had been there for like 2.5 hours waiting, seemed like maybe every time the line moved in a big way was because people were U-turning, not because a few people were getting through. It's hard to say though, you know? We're just passing by those huts, which is where we entered the parks this morning. Yeah. And I think we stopped at a small town, Kootenai. And we were looking around here, trying to find a hotel or motel to stay at for the night instead of driving for another like 3 hours to Revelstoke, which is where we're staying. But they're all booked up, so we drove to Golden, which is the town on the other side of the road closure. And it's hard to say if it was worth it or not, because who knows? Maybe we saved like 40 minutes going around compared to waiting for them to open it, because it did get opened around the time we got to Golden. Oh well. And then another 2-hour drive or so. We made it to our hotel for the next couple nights. Grizz Hotel. Yeah. It was a long day, but we made it. You know? Thanks for Arthur muscling through all the driving. I was definitely not able to stay awake for a lot of that. Later, guys.